soon as she knocks on the door, we'll get started. How's classes going for you this?
Good, I guess.
Yeah. You're graduating in May?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right. So what we're doing is sort of a standard career interview, and I'll ask you a series of questions and just, we'll kind of think together about the answers you get and what we want to do with them. The first one is, and I realize you're doing a favor for me, but at the end of all of this, when you think about career counseling, what would you think would be the thing you would want to get most out of this time together?
To know what I want to do and to know what I'm best fit for the job, I guess.
Okay, that would be helpful. And then I'm assuming, if I recall right, you're probably going to college before a job, so you might even think about a college major as well. That would be something we could take away if we could maybe have a couple of ideas of some majors. And then if you have other questions as we go through this, we can think about different colleges or things like that. So, all right, so the first thing I want to do for the class is talk about demographics. And so one of the questions, I know your age and I know your gender. Tell me a little bit about your family. Give me some background.
I got 3 brothers and sisters.
Okay.
2 brothers, 1 sister.
Okay.
My mom grew up in Iowa. My dad in Chicago. We moved here from Champaign 11 years ago.
Okay, so how old were you when you were living in Champaign from birth to like 5th grade, 3rd grade?
6 years old, so 2nd grade.
Oh, 2nd grade, okay. So
I moved here and I turned 7.
Okay, so you've been in the Charleston School District for since then. All right, and are your parents still together?
Yes.
Okay, and what does your dad do?
He owns a bookstore.
Okay, and what does your mom do?
She works at CASA, Court-Appointed Special Advocates for Children.
Okay, very good. And so, do both work outside the home, or?
No, my dad runs the bookstore from
like an
home,
internet version? Yeah.
But we're opening the shops now.
Okay, all right, so he's thinking of moving as well. All right, and where are you in the family trees? You have an older brother?
Yep,
I know
I'm the
that.
second child.
Okay, oldest, you're second in the family, and then you have your next in line is?
My sister, Claudia,
Okay.
and then Chriselle.
Okay, and how much younger are they than you?
My sister's 13, so 4 years younger.
Okay, so she's in 8th grade?
Yes.
Okay, you're a senior, she's in 8th grade, and then?
Chriselle's 11.
Okay, so he's in 6th grade.
Yeah.
All right, so there was a little bit of a gap there where it was you and your older brother for a few years before. Okay. I'm assuming you're closer to your older brother than you are your 2 younger siblings.
Yeah.
Spend more time with him. Yeah, so kind of relating a little bit more toward him. Okay. Tell me about the maybe some of the trips you took. If you think about vacations, or if you think about your travel, where have you gone for travel?
I've been to Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Okay.
I went to Puerto Rico.
Okay. And what was Puerto Rico about?
It was just one of my friends invited me to go, so I went with his family.
Okay, so it's just strictly fun. Okay.
Florida for a youth conference.
Okay.
Iowa, just not much else outside of that.
Okay, so mostly around here, but then you've had a couple of chances to get out. What was it like for you when you traveled to Puerto Rico? Was that a positive experience?
Yeah, I liked it.
All right.
See new things, I guess.
So it didn't scare you, or you didn't have any bad experiences that you're aware of?
I mean, at first it scared me, just the idea of leaving and then being so far away from home, but I liked it, yeah.
Okay, all right. So in terms of career, since that's why we're meeting, if we looked at a major that would require you to live outside the country on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being fearfully 1 being fearfully horrible, 10 being fantastic, where would you be on a scale of?
7, I guess.
Okay, so it would be, I can't remember, I flipped the scale on me, so that's more positive than negative.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be something that you would be opposed to. Okay, very good. And in your travel, can you tell me some of the careers that you might have been exposed to that say, given that your dad's a bookseller and your mom works for CASA, that doesn't involve a lot of travel.
Mm-hmm.
So, how much have you been exposed to careers?
You mean like?
If you were Barack Obama's son, you would be exposed to a great variety because of all the travel. In your case, you've been somewhat limited, but what about careers? Have you been exposed to various kinds of people and events and situations where if I asked you to think about various careers, you'd say, well, I've got a lot of experience thinking about.
I would say I don't, I guess.
Some more limited.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we fantasize about careers, you're going to be relatively limited, other than maybe thinking about maybe videos or movies you've seen and things like that, which we know Hollywood can skew that. Tell me about some of your early learning experiences. If I were to line up your second grade teacher, your third grade teacher, your fourth grade teacher and said, what would they say about you? What are some of the comments they might make as you went through your school?
Second and third grade, I guess from third grade on up to seventh grade, they'd say it was pretty positive because I tried in school and my mom and dad kept me on track and I tested well, I guess.
Okay.
But
tested well, meaning tested?
Yeah, like
good.
a 98th percentile,
right.
Like up there. But now once I've hit high school, it's not as well, I guess. I haven't performed as well, but...
By whose standards? By their standards standing there at you, or your standards thinking about yourself?
Me, probably.
Okay.
Thinking about myself. Them, I mean, they would think I'm smart, I guess.
Okay. Well, okay. You're a little hesitant there, so... but basically, when people think of you in terms of just your abilities to perform with your brain, I hear a lot of positive messages. I don't hear any teacher saying, "Boy, that's the dumbest kid I've ever." Really, a lot of positive. So there's nothing that I can think of, nothing that you would be aware of that would prohibit you from thinking about careers where you would have to use your brain. Okay. Any other learning experience that happened that was unique, perhaps maybe that led to an award or that put you in a situation that might be unique from other people? And that could include sports.
Not that I can think of.
Anything in middle school that stands out in terms of unique experiences or awards? Do you play sports?
Yeah, I play soccer, golf. I used to play baseball, but I don't anymore.
Okay.
A cool thing, I guess, since this was my first year playing soccer, the very first game of my career, I scored 2 goals.
Oh.
That was kind of cool.
Okay, very good, very good. So again, some positive, when you think about yourself as a sports person, positive, pretty decent golfer. Something. Okay. All right. And that kind of leads me to my next question. What are you good at?
Singing. I don't know.
Okay. How would you know you're good at singing? What happens?
I've been singing since 5th grade.
Okay.
I was in the chorus 5th, 6th, all the way up to junior year. I didn't do it this year.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I've been in a musical and I've gotten lead roles and such. So.
Well, wait a minute. I just asked for what unique experiences do you have, and you didn't say anything about having the lead in a...
I guess it didn't come to my mind.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, let's, we may back up a little bit. So you've been the lead in the high school musical, and I just happen to know that the musicals in this particular school that you go to are pretty serious business. This is not just sort of something they do on the side. The whole community comes out. It gets a lot of press, a lot of positive. So that's something. So okay, so I sing well. What else do I do?
I'm athletic, I guess.
Okay, pretty good in sports.
I do well in school.
I'm smart. Are you agreeing with me when I say you're smart? You agree with me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I guess.
Man, I'm trying to pull this out of you. All right. So you think about a hat rack, and you're going to put 3 hats on the hat rack, and those hats represent, this is what I'm best at. I mean, I don't even have to think about it. I'm really good at this. Is singing one of those hats?
I would say, yeah.
Is academics one of those hats?
Yeah.
Any particular subject or just really all subjects?
Probably just in general, all subjects.
Okay. And then we've got only one left. Is it sports or is there something else?
That I'm good at?
Yeah. I mean, when push comes to shove, I know no matter what happens, whether I'm 9 or 90, I'm good at this.
I probably wouldn't say sports is up there.
Okay, so what knocks it off? What gets in its place?
I don't know. Guess I'm good at making people laugh. I don't know.
Okay. So I'm musical. I'm smart. And would that be relational, or would that just simply be, you know what? I'm just good at making people. I'm just funny.
Probably relational.
Okay. So I broaden that out a little bit. So you can be relational with people. Is there a time when you're not funny, but you can still be relational, or is your relational skill sets really about making people feel?
There's times where I'm not funny, yeah.
But still pretty good at connecting. Okay, so if I were to go to the high school where you are, people would say, you know, Caleb's he's just good with people. All right. So, and you could see why I'm asking these questions, because as we think about careers, we need to think about what your skill sets are. All right. So when you think about your education, and now I'm moving from, we sort of covered some demographics, some things that are important to me. This gives me a little bit of idea of what you're like. And for the class, I'm now moving into just your educational realm. What subject do you like best?
In school? I enjoy physics.
Okay.
It's hard.
It is hard. That's not a subject a lot of kids would grab for and say, that's what I like. So, okay, very good. So,
it's interesting.
Yeah. And does that include all science or just physics? In other words, chemistry, biology, or do you just like physics?
I've only taken like one chemistry class, and I don't really remember it too well.
Okay.
But I like biology, I guess I'd say. Most sciences, yeah, I enjoy.
Okay, because I was going to ask, is it the math and physics?
No.
It's more just the conceptual thinking about sort of relativities. So, okay, more conceptual. So what about if you had to choose between physics and thinking about the meaning of life versus biology and dissecting a frog, which one would you gravitate toward?
Physics and the meaning of life, I guess.
Okay. But would you be happy in a career where you dissected things, where you're in a detailed, hands-on, or do you sort of like the more intellectual theory part better?
I'd be fine with the hands-on
Okay.
thing, yeah.
Okay. All right. So you don't mind getting your hands bloody. So, okay. All right. What do you like least in school?
Calculus. I like that.
Okay. Now, is that true of all math or just calculus?
Probably most math.
Okay.
I don't really like most math.
Okay. But you're good at it
Yeah.
enough. You just don't. That's just not what you want to be spending your time, is it? Okay. Very good. I've already mentioned awards and scholarships. Anything floating around at the moment in terms of awards or scholarships? Anything that you bring to the table in terms of thinking about maybe college?
I haven't really applied for scholarships.
Okay.
I got in at Eastern,
Okay.
but I mean they gave a standard scholarship that they usually do to people.
Right.
But outside of that,
Have you applied to other universities? And why is that?
I'm lazy.
Okay. Okay. So if I were to describe you as somebody who was a go-getter and make things happen versus sort of laid back and wait for things to happen to you, you're describing yourself as sort of wait and let things happen to you. Okay. All right. Very good. That'll be an aspect of our conversation when we meet again, which we'll talk about. Pretty much grades are what's your current GPA in high school?
Straight A's, like 4.9
Okay.
or something.
Okay. All right. On a 5-point scale. So forth. Are you going to be one of those that maybe not the valedictorian, but one of those 5 or 6 that they throw up there to talk about your experience? Where are you ranked? Let me ask that. That's a better question.
20, I think.
Okay.
Something like
So
that.
maybe just right outside that bubble.
Mhm.
So, and that's 20 out of 100.
Around 200, like 180 something maybe.
Very good. All right. So if you apply to other universities, there's a strong likelihood that you would get
I
accepted.
get it, yeah.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
that's something we're going to have to talk about. That what's preventing you from thinking about pushing yourself to challenges. Not that EIU
Yeah.
can't be very challenging. In fact, I've advised some people to come here because of the low ratio of student to faculty, that kind of thing, and they've been very happy with that. But that may just depend on sort of, again, your personality and what you want. Okay, I'm switching gears for the class's sake. I'm switching gears now to employment. So tell me about your job history. What kind of jobs have you had?
Never been employed.
At all?
Nope.
Has anyone ever paid you to do anything?
Yeah. For that conference in Florida that I went to, I had to do work to earn money to go to that.
Okay. And so you were paid directly by the person that you worked for?
Mhm.
Okay. And why would you say that you've decided not to get a job at, let's say, Pizza Hut? What's that about? That you've wanted to focus more on academics, or because
I don't know. I just don't like the idea of having to go to work every day and then working on school afterward and not having like free time to do what I want.
Okay. And so buying things at the moment maybe is not as important to you.
Yeah, I guess not.
So you don't have a goal of wanting to buy a car, or are those kinds of things just get into you?
I guess I would like a car. That'd be nice.
Okay. But you don't sound like you've got a plan to get one.
I do not.
So at this point, you're just borrowing mom and dad's?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to sort of negotiate that with them. All right. And so what about volunteer work? Have you volunteered for the hospital or for?
Hedwig House of Hospitality.
What is that?
I did it with Frank Lanham, like through Newman. They have a house that they work on. So for someone's Eagle Scout project, I helped with that and did yard work outside of there and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. Is that something you like, volunteer work?
I don't mind it. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. So it sounds like it's okay for you to volunteer when money may not even be involved, but the idea of going to work for somebody where you're there every day, kind of tied down, but making some money, you'd almost you seem to value your freedom at the moment more than you do actually getting cold hard cash okay. All right, so we'll have to think about that. All right, I'm switching gears again to the medical area. Are there any physical, mental, emotional barriers or issues that we have to think about in terms of when we think about a career for you? Never had any brain injuries or any impediments that...
Not that I'm thinking about.
Okay, so health-wise, things are okay?
Yeah.
All right, very good. No asthma, no vertigo for heights that you're aware of? In case you want to be an astronaut.
Yeah.
All right, so with that, we're going to move right on then and think about, kind of focus on some career aspiration things. So, when you think about growing up, kindergarten, first grade, what were some of the early fantasies you had about, this is what I want to be when I grow up?
I probably thought of myself kind of like my dad. I don't know, just like his job when I would grow up and I'd take over his business,
Okay.
or maybe go into some kind of, I don't know, I guess just follow his footsteps. But that was when I was younger, I guess.
Okay. Okay, just a little bit older then. I'd say we're now in second, third grade. What happened to those fantasies? Did you still want to work for your dad at that time, or did some other things come to mind?
I probably did, but I probably fantasized about like being an astronaut or something big like that.
Well, did you fantasize about being an astronaut, or are you just saying probably did? I mean, what is it that you did fantasize about? When you think of jobs and you're out there, you go, man, that seems interesting.
I guess. A doctor, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is it about a doctor that seemed enticing to you as a career possibility?
Like saving people's lives, I guess.
Okay. Which goes a little bit along with your volunteering and helping others. Okay. So there's this part of you that's a big pull. Okay, very good. Anything else besides a doctor before I move on? I mean, any other maybe careers where you're helping people? Because doctors aren't the only people who help people.
Not that I can think of.
Okay, so you haven't been paid for work. What about hobbies? What do you do as a hobby?
Sports. I don't know if scholastical would be considered a hobby, but I participate in that.
Yeah. What's your role on the team? What do they rely on you for?
Anything really.
So you don't have a specialty, you just, whoever knows the answer.
Yeah. I mean, some people do, but I don't really have much of a specialty now.
Okay. Because I get a sense from you that you kind of like a number of things. You're not tied down to one, even though you said physics might be your favorite, you make pretty good grades in a number of different subjects. And so, all right. Aspirations at this point, now that you're becoming an adult, what are some, maybe just some fantasies and aspirations that you think, okay, it's all starting to come together for me now. I think this is what I may want to be.
I really don't know what I want to be.
Okay. Why is that?
I don't know. I just don't know what I like or what I want to go into, I guess.
Okay, let's sort of parse that out. Because you hesitated, maybe you think about things you like, but maybe you also think about, do I want to do that 8 to 5 every day?
Yeah. And like the amount of work that goes into becoming things that I like would be a lot, and I don't know if I like the idea of that. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And you've probably been told this already, moving from high school to college is like moving from Earth to Mars. I mean, it's quite a leap, and it's substantially harder. You can't sort of get away with some of the tricks of the trade in high school.
Yeah.
A lot of very smart people have come back and said, wow, I was a straight A student in high school, and I'm struggling in my first semester of college. Well, it is different. So that's something we need to explore at some point, is that you have sort of some ideas about wanting to help people, but and you said lazy, so I'll use that. Do I have the discipline to do the things that are going to be required of me when no one's looking? Mm-hmm. Sort of like the long distance runner who has to put in his or her miles when no one's looking in order to compete in the race. You seem to be proud of the fact that you just sort of showed up at soccer and scored 2 goals. Mm-hmm. That wouldn't life be great if we could just sort of show up and score 2 goals? So that's an area where can be both a strength and a negative. If you really want something but aren't certain you can, the discipline issue will have to, because a lot of life is boring. It is just sort of kind of tough work. How would you know? Let's say you were my age, looking back at you. How would you know when you got to me that you were important? What are the things that you would have to check off, or that would be evidence of?
If I had a family.
Okay.
Graduated from college.
I think that's important.
Job.
Yeah, you kind of hinted at, you weren't sure about a job, but
well, I mean, like whenever I'm, if I'm employed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's important for you to be providing or to be making some income at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So family, working, have a college degree. What level of college? What do you see? What do you think of yourself? Would you need to have more than a bachelor's degree to think you're important?
Probably,
Okay.
I would say.
Why?
I don't know, I feel like getting more than just 4 years of college is important.
Okay. Who told you that?
No one.
Okay, so that's something that you actually, any particular event or situation that gave you that idea?
Not in particular, no.
So you actually see yourself as, you might be disappointed if you didn't go beyond even though you referred yourself to as lazy and, and few aspirations, you're gonna somehow, get up to the ground. Okay.
Meet you at some point.
Okay, so there's going to be some switch that goes off.
Hopefully.
All right, all right, very good. So that's something to remember, that you've set a goal almost by accident in talking, because earlier you said, well, I don't really have any sort of goals, but now you've said, you know what? Looking back, I think I might be disappointed in myself. So there's a part of you that says, I've got some talent. But I hear in your voice, I'm a little worried that I'm not going to maximize that talent. And I'm a little worried that, what if I get to be, Robert's age, and I look back and think, God, unused talent. So where's that motivation going to come from?
Yeah.
And that's not just a hypothetical, because a lot of kids go to their freshman year and they just realize, wow, I'm not ready. So, one of the things we may need to explore is, do you need to go to college right away? Does a year out doing something different prepare you better? Or do you feel like you're ready?
I feel like I should start college right away
Okay.
instead of take a year out.
Why is that?
Just to get into it, I feel like it's important. And then the classes that I'm taking this year prepare me for college and the classes I'll be taking there. And so I feel like if I take a year off, I would remember some of the stuff from those. And I wouldn't be as prepared as I would be if I took a year off.
Yeah, a lot of kids in Europe take what's called the gap year. They just go away for a year and they do something just to do it. And then they come back to college. And my own daughter did the same thing. She went away for a year and went out of country and just did something completely different. And, she does say, gosh, it seems like I'm a lot older than the kids I'm in class with, but I think the experience that she had, it's just something to consider. But it sounds like, the reason I even bring that up is because of this idea of motivation, that sometimes we need to have a sort of a pause button. Yeah. And just go and do something else, and then when we come back, we're a little more motivated. And some kids do it by default. They fail out, or they run into trouble, and they get kicked out, and then they come back and say, okay, now I'm ready, I get it. So, it's just one of those things where there isn't a rule that you must go to college right out of high school. So, I want to make sure that we call it sort of a foreclosure. I don't want you to foreclose on the idea that you may do something. It's okay to do something different and come back. There isn't somebody out there going, oops, you're too old for college, or that may be inside of you, but it's not a reality. So it's just something that I'd want you to at least consider. All right, we're out of career, and now we're into a few assessment issues, and some of the bulk of the assessment, we're almost done. The bulk of the assessment I'm going to have you go away and do, but I'm going to explain for the video, for the class, what I'm going to have you do. But I do want to ask you, can you tell me, I'll give you a chance to think about this, maybe tell me a little bit about your favorite movie.
My favorite movie? It's tough to pick just one.
No, we can explore a couple, but you don't have to just come right out. You can think about it for a little bit if you need to take some time.
I guess one of my favorite movies, at least, is The Truman Show.
Okay, I'm familiar with that, so that's good. I always worry that I may not know the movie. Okay, so tell me, which character are you in that movie, if you had to put yourself in that movie?
Which character am I, or which character would I like to be?
Oh, okay. Well, I'll take both. They're both instructive.
The character that I'd like to be, I guess, is the person above who's watching Jim Carrey, and he's controlling him.
He's sort of the head of the game show.
Yeah.
Okay, that's who you would like to be,
Mm-hmm.
and tell me why.
Because I feel like I'd have control and I'd be able to like know what I want and I have what I want and I get it, I guess.
Sure. Very good. That's very helpful. And yeah, you said that's who I'd like to be, but who would I be?
I feel like I'd be Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
I'd be the person who is controlled.
Right. And you describe yourself right now as we're talking as that would be the character.
Yeah.
I might guess, because you're not sure what's happening, a lot of factors going on that you're not aware of, and maybe some doubt. Which part of it's just you're young, so there's a lot of things perhaps you haven't experienced yet. So. All right, very good. Is there another movie that comes to mind?
Another favorite movie?
I like the show, the video.
Yeah.
That's a great show.
I like the series of movies, like the Lord of the Rings series was
Okay.
good. I like those.
And who are you in that movie?
No, I don't know.
When you look at the movie and you see the characters, who really stands out as you connect with? Hopefully not Sauron, but...
Maybe Sam West Gamgee.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Yeah, and so tell me about him. What does he do? If it's so...
He goes on the journey with Frodo, and
He's not in the lead, though.
No.
So his role is more support?
Yeah. Well, it gets bigger as it goes along, I guess, and he provides support for Frodo.
He's
and
underestimated.
He is, yeah.
Yeah, so his true character takes time to... Would your friends say that's true about you, that, the real Caleb takes a while to get to know and come out?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, so you're sort of a slow developer as opposed to just, you're not... Although you're the lead in the musical. I mean, it's hard to hide and
Yeah.
slow develop. I mean, bam, there you are. You come
I guess I'm comfortable with that, though, and I know that I'm able to do that.
Okay.
So it's not as slow.
Okay, so there are in other roles that may not be true.
Yeah, I have confidence.
Very good. And it's kind of neat that you're a little bit complex that way, so that's okay. All right. Tell me a little bit. We call this a genogram. I don't have a board to write on, but if you were to think about your grandparents on both sides, can you tell me a little bit about their careers?
On my mom's side, my grandpa, he lives in Iowa. He works with a church. He's the worship leader there, and
Okay.
he's been there for a long time.
Okay.
And on my dad's side, I never met my grandpa. He died before I was born.
Okay. Do you recall what he did?
I do not know.
So your dad never really talks about what he did for a career. Okay. And what about you? So what about your grandmother? What did she do? On either side.
I'm not sure.
Okay. So
I don't think my grandma on my dad's side worked much.
outside the home.
Yeah. And my grandma on my mom's side, who passed away, I didn't really know her that well. I was young whenever she passed.
Okay. So, but it sounds like, now granted in my family, as a career person, that's all I'm ever talking about is careers and family. And so, did you not talk about careers as a family? Or is there just no one in your family tree that says, oh, that Uncle Joe, here's what he does? Or
I'm sure we've talked about it and it's came up in conversation, but I don't recall what they did.
So is it safe to say there's no one famous in your family?
I wouldn't think so.
Okay. No one who stands out as, wow, that person really distinguished him or herself in some way.
Yeah, no one really stands out to me like that.
Does that concern you?
Kind of, I guess.
You may have to be the first to, to break that mold. What is that about for for your family tree? What does that mean for you? I mean, it doesn't mean anything, but what does it mean for you? Does that kind of, we laughed, and it's kind of, well, that worries me, but
Yeah.
does it?
I guess thinking about it now, it kind of does, because, like, I can't remember, like, someone in my family who has a significant big job that stands out to me
Right.
and has gone somewhere big.
Right. So the advantage is, because here's the disadvantage. You know, great-grandfather was, Caleb the first, he was a brain surgeon. Caleb the second was a brain surgeon. Caleb third was the brain. Well, by golly, you know, you're going to be a brain surgeon. So there's downsides. You know, but there's both the wow, you know, what great accomplishments, but then, you know, maybe feeling, in your case, you've got a clean sort of template, clean plate, to clean, whatever analogy you want to use, you really can chart your own course, because there's actually nobody in your tree
Yeah.
that is either suggestive or prescriptive that, this is what you must be, which a lot of families say, my dad was a teacher, I'm a teacher, by golly, you're going to be a teacher.
Yeah.
You've got none of that going on, which can be both a strength and a weakness. The weakness, of course, is I don't have anybody to look to.
To direct me.
Right. So would it be fair to say it might be helpful for you to grab a few mentors, people that you might have to call and say, I don't know all of your circle of friends, but I know you have some of them to call out and say, could I bounce a few ideas? I'm thinking about going to this major, can I talk to you about them and just see, if there's some key people that will be one of the tools we talk about when we meet again. I'll probably recommend that. All right, very good. And then if you had to give me an ideal day, I want you to think into the future. We're now 10 years into Caleb's career, or 5 years. Ideal. When you wake up in the morning, here's your ideal day, what happens?
I wouldn't wake up too early.
You're talking like a teenager. So. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so you have some freedom when you get up.
But
So you're not a milk farmer.
Okay. But then I guess I would, when I'm older, I would want a job, so I would get up, go to my job.
So you see your job as being outside the house?
Yes.
And you would drive there? What kind of car would you drive?
I don't know. Something small, I guess. Not a big car.
Okay, so does that mean you're concerned about the environment, or you just don't want a big car?
Probably because gas mileage and something more fuel efficient.
Okay, so you're budget minded. Yeah. So you're off to your job. Do you drive 30 miles? Do you drive 5 miles? Do you drive?
10 to 20, I guess.
Okay. So you're willing to commute. What are you wearing?
Nice clothes, tie.
Okay.
Fine enough, I guess. I don't know.
Wow. And I need a tie on because what does that represent?
Importance.
Okay, so that's something that you value in the future. You want to do something that, is it important in terms of people say, wow, you're so special, or important in that I have influence?
I have influence.
Yeah, because that's the guy in the movie, right? He has influence, all right? So not necessarily people worshiping him, but he has some influence over what? Over people, things, or ideas. I have influence over the ideas in terms of...
Probably all people and ideas.
What about things? You want to create a gadget that saves the world, or you want to...
I would like to, that'd be cool.
All right, well that's unique, because usually people are attracted to one of 3 things. They're either attracted to people, they're either attracted to things, or they're attracted to ideas. Obviously I'm attracted to some level of ideas because I'm at a university.
Yeah.
But you're saying all 3, which isn't bad, it's just unusual. So if you had to pick one of the 3, what 3 would you, if you had to go to one of the 3, in other words, work with things, I'm an engineer, I work with people, I'm in some kind of relational, maybe sales, or I work with ideas and think up things, which would be like physics.
It probably wouldn't be things,
Okay.
but between people and ideas, I guess People, maybe.
Really? Okay. Very good. That's good to know. We'll find out a little bit more about that in a minute. Okay, so between now and when we meet next, there's 3 things I need you to do. And the first one is I'm going to have you go to similarminds.com website. I'm going to give you this to take home. And you're going to just follow these instructions and take this. It's a personality, I won't call it a test. It's really just a personality assessment. And it's going to give you some letters that are going to be useful to me. And then I'll kind of take it from there. So you just need to print out or write down the results. And I need the 4 letters that you're going to get, and if you print out anything else, that'll be fine too. So you're going to give me that. That has to do with your personality. Secondly, you've already brought me your ACT, and what I need from your parents is for them to dig out your Explorer, which is your freshman, your Plan, which is your sophomore, your PSAT, which is your junior, and you got your ACT. And in those 3, there's also a sheet that is called the World of Work. It's like a big wheel, and it has spokes, and the areas that you show an interest in show gray rounds. And they may not be the same each year, but if I can have all 3 of those, have your ACTs, perfect. All right. If I don't get them, we'll survive, but I need those 3. Okay. And then thirdly, I need you to take this, which is an interest inventory, and it's called the Self-Directed Search. And here's the assessment booklet, and you will just simply follow the instructions. So you self-score it, and so it's going to ask you a series of questions. And really, these are daydreams. I already asked you about that. That's up to you. You can write the occupations down, and then you find the occupation in your code here, and then you will just talk about your license, and you don't want to overthink this. When you sit down and you look at these, you just choose one. It forces you to choose one. Don't worry about it. Just choose, and then you'll just follow the instructions and answer all of these as you go down, and come to the end. You should have some kind. Once you add up everything from the book, you should have a summary code. You may have a couple of options there, and then it's going to ask you to look up some occupations. So I want you to work through this book. I'd like to have it back in a week if I could. And then again, this one is just once you've gotten your scores, you can kind of look up where things are here in terms of kind of explains some of that information. All right, so take that. I'll want that back, and I want this information back as quickly as possible. And your parents can help you with those scores. And I'll keep your ACT, and then what we'll do is I'll get that information back. I will compile it into a printout that sort of summarizes my thoughts and gives you some general ideas as you get ready to move forward and think about college and career and majors. You're going to look at that and say, okay, based on my personality, based on my abilities, and based on my interest, here are some things that I can think about. I won't tell you which major, I won't tell you which job, but you'll have some good ideas about how to go about making that choice. That sound good? Mm-hmm. All right, very good. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Let's see if my system is okay. And let me move you out of here a minute. Sorry about this.
Oh, no, it's okay.
I'm going to turn this light off.